The most important thing.
What's happening? What's happening? What's going on? What's going on? What is going on? What's happening? Throw something in the chat if you are here to let me know you're here. Got some videos to show y'all, but throw something in the chat before I start off to let me know you're in here. Throw something in the chat to let me know you're here. I said I was gonna start like 7:40, but what I'm trying to do is get the people in here first. Then we can get started a little bit. Maybe I'll give it 10 minutes or so before I dive into anything. How y'all doing? Evening, good evening. Good evening. I'm gonna wait a few. I'm still gonna wait a few. Good evening. Waiting for more people to get in here before I get started. But if you're in here now, drop something in the chat for me. Thanks for the like. Thanks for the like. Drop something in the chat if you're here. We chilling for now, but drop something in the chat. I do have some cool stuff to show y'all. Once to get a few people in here. Thanks for the like. Drop something in the chat. Let's get this chat going. I'm gonna wait a few more minutes. What we got going on though, I'll tell you guys what we got going on before I even start up with that, which is that I took some, because there's plenty of them. There's 16, but I took some of these pre-game interviews that I saw of certain players I thought all of them would be too much for one video, so I picked I think 6 of them, and I'm gonna be playing those, and we can pause and talk about how those videos looked, if what they were saying before the game matched up to what happened in the game. And yeah, we'll go from there. I'm gonna be playing that pretty soon. Probably wait another few more minutes. But drop something in the chat if you're in here to let me know that you are here. Or hit the like button. Hit that like button. Okay, people are starting to come in a little bit. People are starting to join a little bit. We're going to start soon. I guess if you're watching this on the replay, you're going to have to skip ahead a little bit. But we're going to get started pretty soon. We're going to get started pretty soon. Thanks for the likes. All right, I think I'm going to... Hi, Renee. You finally broke the chat. Cherry. Usually people come in and start talking right away, but today took a little while to get started. But I was just saying that soon I'm going to be playing. Yeah, I know, Renee. It's usually like the first second somebody jumps in here, the first thing they do is jump in the chat. But I didn't announce this one, so I assume that my regular people on here are just seeing this randomly, so. Hi, other Renee. We got Renee and Renee, R and R. Okay, well, I think I've waited long enough. People will join in later, but I'm going to start playing these pregame interviews that I have compiled.
Thing to me would be winning the game, number one. I've been waiting 10 years to be a part of this show, and that money will change my life and my family life and my community's life. So I would love to win the game. That's way more important than anything. But I think if you play a strong game, you're going to win the love of the fans. So ideally it comes together, but money, the first place prize will come first. Strength would definitely be adaptability. I've been touring professionally as a musician for 10 years, where you live on a bus and a hotel room with roommates. So you're kind of stuck with all these different personalities and cultures and backgrounds. And over the last 10 years, I've really garnered a way to adapt to all those surroundings. And it's definitely going to help me in the game from beginning to end. I think my biggest weakness would probably be I'm generally way too honest and way too outspoken. So I'll definitely try to harness that to help me in the game opposed to hurt me. But when I wear my heart on my sleeve, I'm a Sagittarius, it's gonna happen. So I just gotta learn how to adapt with that in the moment, hopefully change some minds and manipulate a little more from there.
That's funny to me.
As far as gameplay goes, I won't draw the line anywhere. This is a game, literally a game. It's there should be no emotional attachment to it, as much as we all will have some emotion in it. I'm there to do whatever I have to do in order.
I find this part really funny because I'm sitting here saying to myself, there's no emotional attachment to the game. I don't want to play the game with emotions. I'm like, that's exactly what you did, brother. Your whole blueprint, you went against it.
To get to the end, I don't want anyone standing in my way between the first place prize and myself. Even my own alliance, it doesn't matter. I'll do what I have to do. Macho men who are very masculine and think that they're like the head of the house. Like they really are, even when they're not HOH, you know?
So he said the people that he doesn't get along with are macho men. And he did come in there and immediately say, I don't want to work with the men. I want to work with the women. So, yeah. it kind of makes sense why he went against Monty off the rip.
They're trying to like prove a point that no one even asked about. So I'm not a big fan of those people. And religious people also kind of, get to me because I grew up very Christian and now I'm not. So I kind of know those tactics and I just don't want to hear it, to be honest.
Hey, Andrew.
Gosh,
Daniel, worst player on any BB. So I just got through one so far. The first person that I showed was Daniel. What y'all think? What y'all think of the Daniel? What y'all think of the Daniel pregame? How did it sound? How did that match up? No, this is not current. This is like 2 to 3 months ago for these people when they got cast. And I found some pregame interviews, and that was one of Daniel's pregame interviews. And now I got Brittany here coming up.
this is a really easy answer, honestly. I have an amazing life. I have a great family. I have wonderful friends. I love what I do. I'm living my dream job. I have a great life at home. Those things are going to be there for me when I come back. I trust in the people that I love. So, of course, winning this game is the most important, because no matter if I did everything that I thought America wanted, or no matter if I do none of it, some people are going to love you, some people are not going to like you. And that's just part of this experience, right? So definitely winning the game is the most important thing to me. I just hope people, are able to enjoy the fun game while they're watching. I'll start with weaknesses. Greatest weaknesses, I would say, is, I just need to kind of feel out the group. I think that's going to be kind of an interesting thing when I am just kind of honest about who I am and what I bring to the table. In past seasons, I'm married, I'm in my young 30s. I'm kind of quirky, a little out there. I'm not what they traditionally would group into the popular supermodel group. And I do worry that might be a weakness for me in terms of getting into the large alliance, in terms of making those really strong relationships. But my greatest strength, I would say, is my ability to really develop strong rapport, strong, deep relationships one-on-one with people. So even if at first glance...
Oh my God. The ability to develop strong rapport and strong, deep relationships with people being her greatest strength. The lie detector test said, well, I guess that's what she thinks is her greatest strength, so it is what it is with that.
And it doesn't seem like Brittany's this popular. I think once I get to really know people individually, I'll be able to build that stronger game where they'll see me for who I really am and will recognize, like, hey, yeah, we want to keep her around. What will I do and what won't I do to win? Here's what I won't do. I won't personally hurt people. You know what I mean? Like, I think there's a way, even if you're telling fibs, even if you're orchestrating, strategy, even if you're someone like me who's going to play a very deep psychological, mental, social game. Well. There's ways to do that where you're still able to show respect and mutual understanding and kindness towards people. I don't think that needs to get into bullying. I personally was bullied when I was younger. It didn't feel good. I don't ever want to make anyone feel bad in this game, even if they might not agree with the game decisions that I'm making. It's all about how you make people feel. And so what I won't do is make people feel bad in this game. Everything else is free game for me, honestly. I'm not going to make people feel bad on a personal level, but other than that, better watch out.
She's so funny to me.
Truth. That's tricky. In both my previous career in market research and in my career now as a clinical hypnotist, it is quite literally my job to develop rapport and instant kind of relationship with people, to have really deep conversations with them. So I've kind of trained
I said this before, I would not want Brittany as my hypnotherapist. I'm just saying. I'm not going under mind control by you. No thanks.
yourself out of not being able to get along with people. Now, I'm sure when you're spending 3 months with somebody, they're going to get on your nerves. I would say the people that I'm most going to have to make fake smile to would be the big single young 20s muscle dudes that have egos bigger than their biceps. You know, those are going to be the kind of people that I'm going to have to be like, okay. But you know what? I'm actually thinking that I might just ask if they want to like personal train me. And so we can like, you know, lift some iron together. Is that what they call it? And that's how I'll kind of develop relationships with them. So we'll see how it goes.
Winning the game is the most important thing to me, but I really hope that fans will like me along my journey. I would say my greatest strengths are I never give up. I will go into the challenges and I will try my absolute hardest. And I think my weaknesses are I care a little bit too much about people.
I wouldn't
I will do pretty much anything.
I wouldn't let her hypnotize me either. She's over the top. Yeah. She would be like, okay, let's get you in the chair. And you would be like, aren't you supposed to be reducing my anxiety, not making it worse? Please sit still and lower your voice a little bit.
To win. I hopefully won't have to hurt anyone's feelings personally, but I will do just about anything. I don't really get along with obnoxious, loud, crazy people.
I think what's most important to me is winning the game because I have a very competitive nature in me. Like,
all right, that's
all my life.
It's crazy that her weakness cancels out her strength because, excuse me, y'all. Because her anxiety causes her to damage those same strong connections. Exactly. And it's like people, that's a good observation, Renee, because I feel like in the beginning, when they meet Brittany, it's like, she's all right. I like her, you know, nice person. She seems pretty genuine. But then it's just like, she'll leave a conversation with somebody and then she'll go back to that conversation with them. And then she'll go back by herself. Her mind will start spinning. Then she'll start projecting her anxiety onto them and then doing this babbling that she did. And then make the person be like, why, after we already settled this thing, is she coming back to me with this same thing? And then where are these new ideas coming from? And then she's just projecting her doubts and fears onto the other person she's talking to the point where they get turned off. So you're so right. Her weakness is her strength. Hello Lex, how you doing? How you doing? The chat's quiet this evening, but thanks to those of y'all who are in here. Now I am on Monty. I just finished with Brittany, Alyssa, and Daniel. Now we're here on Monty. Monty's pregame interview. Let me see what Rich just put in here. What's up, Rich, by the way? I hope Monty is blessed by good karma for a long time.
I don't really get along with obnoxious, loud, crazy people.
I think what's most important to me is winning the game because I have a very competitive nature in me. Like, all my life, it's all about just seeing if I could meet the challenge for a lot of things that I've put myself through. So
yeah, me too.
Mechanical engineering, quitting my job to start my own business. To me, that's just like my internal competitive drive. So I think either way, I'm going to be myself, but winning is going to be top priority for me.
Oh yeah, Rich, she gives customer service for sure.
So for me, I think my strengths are going to be my ability to connect with multiple people in the house. So, I mean, I've been in a lot of different social environments, right? I've been one of very few African Americans or Afro-Latino people in a room. So I'm used to that situation. At the same time, I've sort of formed like this chameleon personality where, you know, I can sort of blend and mix into a lot of different social settings. So I think being able to connect with a lot of people.
It's interesting that he recognizes that. This chameleon personality Yeah, I actually saw that interview. If you guys have not seen the interview about Taylor taking Joseph on the cruise, it's on US Weekly. I think it was just posted today. I kind of liked what they were saying in that interview versus what they've been saying prior, which I've just been seeing Instagram videos, basically Instagram stories and Twitter. But yeah, the chameleon game was definitely his game, and hey, it got him to second place, but you couldn't give a chameleon speech at the end. You had to stand for something, stand on something.
In the house to make sure that I'm not a target would be a strength. Weakness would probably be finding the right people to put my faith and trust in, right? So like I think I could be a good judge of character and I can read people pretty well. However, I'm not sure if I can always tell if somebody's lying or if somebody's, faking the funk per se. So that might be my biggest weakness, is trying to read like if somebody's telling the truth or not.
Interesting. Yes. Monty's last name
I'm not
is
big
Taylor.
on starting rumors or creating any drama. So for me, I don't think I'll be able to bring myself to like.
He's not big on starting rumors or creating drama, but he was sure big on spreading rumors and adding to the drama. I'm just saying.
Create a rumor or start something that is, an overt lie and try to carry that out throughout the season. So to me, that's something that I definitely won't do. But what I am willing to do is, if I'm putting somebody up on the block and I know they're my target, I'm not telling them that they're my target, right? Because that creates a lot of angst in that person, and they can wind up, just wilding out the entire week. So to me, I think that's the only, that's sort of the level that I'll get to, is just saying like, all right, I'm not going to overtly lie, but at the same time, I'm not going to tell you the whole truth and nothing but the truth.
That's a pretty good summary of him. I'm not going to overtly lie, but I'm not going to tell you the whole truth and nothing but the truth. Something about watching Monty on those live feeds is I would see Monty go from conversation to conversation where he would not commit to anything in any of those conversations. But he would talk to them about what it would take for him to trust them. And he would kind of give a little bit about what the other person said without giving too much. He was masterful at playing the middle. But I think in the end, it was like, I really think that he should have picked Turner. Because then it would be game versus game. And I think he would have had a good shot against Turner. Let me see. Self-examination seems... Did you notice that in this pregame interview, Renee, that they asked him his strengths? He's rattled off his strengths real easily. And then they were like, what are your weaknesses? And he was like, I guess my weakness would be this. I guess. That was a hard one for him to think of. If I was Taylor, I would only focus on me and Joseph. She seems to be doing that.
Yeah, so the personalities that I don't get along with are people who are very authoritative, who expect things to go their way or the highway. I'm not a type of person that deals well with authority, especially when it's not warranted, right?
Now, what he just said there goes along with what a lot of y'all have said about Monty. I was cracking up when he called Brittany a mob boss. I'm like, really, bro? That's a bit much. That's a bit much.
Deals well with authority, especially when it's not warranted, right? Like, I own my own business, so I don't have a boss. I don't have anybody I'm reporting to. So being told what to do is just not going to fly with me. So those would be the personalities that I probably wouldn't get along with.
I think and see, that was a big part of the reason why I felt he had such a hard time getting along with Taylor. because he wanted a woman who he could tell what to do, and they were just gonna do it. So they would be in all these different conversations where he would be like, okay, this is the move. This is what we need to do. This is how you need to act. This is the person that you need to get out. This is this. This is that. And she would be like, I have my own thoughts about what I think needs to happen. I have my own thoughts about which person I want to be on the block and which person I don't. I have my own feelings about, how I want to act and who I want to be. And he was like, I don't like that. I don't like that. I want somebody who just listens to what I say because I'm the alpha male. I don't want somebody with their own thoughts and ideas and opinions. Like, what are those? What are those? Yeah, I agree, Andrew. I agree. Makes sense because he said he looks to be. He did say that. He doesn't like himself. That's funny, Brent. You need to change that. Yep. Maybe he learned
players I target throughout the game.
Sorry about that. Maybe he learned a $675,000 lesson. You never know. All right, so we're getting into this, Michael. We're like halfway through here.
Target throughout the game really will depend on when I'm in power. At the beginning of the game, I want to align with other people who are strategic players who are willing to make moves because that's the kind of game I want to play, and I want to surround myself with those same types of players. If I have the choice on who I'm taking to the final two, I am always going to take the person that I think I can beat. So I don't care if that is someone who I'm close with or someone that I can't stand. If I think I can beat you in the end, you're the person I want to be sitting next to. Because ultimately...
And do you guys hear that? I want to take the person, the final two that I think I can beat. So obviously, that's why he connected himself with Brittany. That answers a big question that everyone kept asking. Why is he connected to Brittany? Why is he connected to Brittany? And I want to call out the Night Crew YouTube channel because he is acting very misogynistic towards Taylor and saying some nasty things. But what about the Night Crew YouTube channel? I haven't seen it before. Oh, Brittany, he did not care. Whoa, Britt was a great choice. Yeah, she was playing for second.
My goal here is to win. And if I hurt my best friend's feelings by evicting them in third place, I'll say my apologies after the show, but I came to play and I came to win.
He literally just said it. If I hurt my best friend's feeling by evicting them in third place, oh well, I'll say my apologies later. So now in looking at that, the Brittany speech made perfect sense. He always had that in his back pocket. He said this in his pregame before he even got on the show. Michael was always prepared to drive that bus over top of his friend. Not throw the friend under the bus. Get in the passenger seat, put his foot on the gas pedal, drive over them, and reverse and drive over them again. So that makes that part clear as day. I should send Brittany this video, and then she'll have some clarity on what happened when they were on the block together.
So I watched every season of Big Brother. That includes Celebrity Big Brother, Over the Top. I even watched some international versions. So I love this game. And
Yes.
As far as my favorite players go, I've always...
The Brit speech was thrown under the bus. Everyone knew all that. He said on his channel, really? Wait, are you saying he has a channel that he posts on right now? Basically insinuated that she's... Oh, who? I'm so confused about what you're talking about. Oh, the other channel. I thought you were talking about Michael.
Loved bold players who are willing to make moves, not afraid to go against the house. So Janelle is my all-time favorite. I love her. She's a comp beast, and she's given us some of the most iconic moments in Big Brother history. I also really love Kaser. I think Janelle and Kaser are my favorite duo. But I also really love and appreciate a lot of the strong, badass women who have played the game as well, like Rachel Riley, Danny Donato, Danielle Reyes. Nokomis from BB5, and as well as Rennie Martin for that entertainment from BB10. And Brittany Haynes for Diary Room sessions are unmatched.
It says the HOH is targeting a close friend of yours. Do you try to flip the vote or go with the majority and keep the HOH happy? Well, we kind of all know where this is going, but let's see what he said.
If a close ally of mine is on the block, I'm going to do everything that I can to save them without jeopardizing my own game too much. I'm willing to stick my neck out there and try to get a feel for the house, try to flip some votes. Ultimately, if it's a lost cause and there's nothing I can do, I'll still vote for them to stay. But I probably wouldn't push so hard that the target gets shifted onto my back, but I'm definitely willing to stick my neck out if I need to.
He kind of did that for Taylor a little bit.
The only scenario in which I could see myself throwing a competition was if I was HOH and had a backdoor plan with 2 pawns on the block and the veto came down to me and my 2 pawns. I think that's the only way that I would feel comfortable enough throwing a competition. Let one of my nominees pull themselves off the block and throw up my backdoor target, getting a little bit less blood on my hand without having to use the veto myself. But ultimately, if I'm not safe, I want to win the competition because that's the only way to guarantee your safety in the house.
Bro, you should have learned how to throw a few competitions. That's all I'm saying. It didn't have to be every competition, but yeah. People were calling Taylor that inside and outside of the house. So disrespectful.
I think the types of players I target throughout the game really will depend on when I'm in power. At the beginning of the game, I want to align with other people who are strategic players, who are willing to make moves, because that's the kind of game I...
Ling, you are so right. The worst part about Michael is that he's a super fan. He said he watched every season. He watched every celebrity season. He watched all the international seasons. So you saw how people played the game. You saw the trends of the winners. And yet, I think that piece that he said, Janelle's my favorite, she's a comp beast, blah, blah, blah. I feel like he spent way too much time thinking about that comp record than he did about making the best strategic moves. He was all right, but I mean, he was good in the comp aspect, but not in the social aspect. I can't really think of anybody who was just kind of one out. Yeah, I saw that interview. I saw that jailer interview where they were wearing matching blue outfits. You think so too, Ling? He was pushed in the beginning, though. Dan Giesling. Do you remember Dan Giesling was on the block week 1? Dan Giesling was on the block. And you didn't see him trying to win 9 competitions. He strategized. He was like, oh, I gotta up my social game here. Not I gotta win more comps. Even getting put on the block once does not mean that you have to win every competition going forward. Monty could have managed the relationships better. Yeah, I think so. It's kind of low-key weird. Yeah, it's just fast for me, just like I was saying last night. And I don't know if you were on that chat that I did last night, but yeah, so Michael would have had to win a decent amount of competitions, but he didn't have to get the record. He could have won 2 or 3 less on weeks that he was not as big of a threat, on weeks that people weren't thinking of him. Because I know there was a certain point where he won 3, 4, 5, but then he got to a point where he was just past the point of no return and put himself into a win out type of thing. That is throwing the comp. Like, if you could possibly win and you choose, you have to make it look good. Xavier did that last year. Xavier, The house guests of season 23 talked about how they didn't realize how good Xavier was at everything until like the latter half of the season. They were like, "Oh, Xavier is pretty good," and then they were like, "Wait, he's very smart. He has a lot of endurance. He's great at puzzles." And we didn't realize that he was throwing a lot of these competitions on purpose. He got a taste of winning and he wanted to dominate. I'd rather you suck at a comp than throw it. He was also winning and vetoes that he didn't have to win too, Lynn. Yeah, his social game wasn't great. He looks at yeah, I actually remember on the live feeds, especially towards the end before he got out, Terrence, Turner, Monty especially was marveling at this guy. He was like, "You would think that I could beat him at everything, but this guy's like freaking Michael Phelps of Big Brother." He basically became a shield in front of Brittany and exactly. And the funny thing is he kind of used them as the shield, but then he became the shield. And they became the sword. Think about it this way. You have Michael come out of nowhere dominating versus Alyssa, who has been training since she was 8. That was funny. Not if you genuinely suck at it, Mark. He would be the HOH and still get exactly Van Hoot. There's a difference between sucking at comps and purposely throwing it. You have to do that sometimes. You gotta throw tournaments sometimes on purpose. Not throw it as in just, oh, terrible acting, but you've seen sometimes like when they're looking for the OTEV answers where they find it and leave it there and act like they're still looking for it. You got to figure out how to do that. That's a part of the game. Sometimes you got to figure it because it's not always beneficial for you to have the power of veto or the HOH. It's not always beneficial. Yeah, they thought Monty was a comp beast. I remember somebody was like, Monty is throwing these comps. And I'm like, no, Monty is not winning comps during comps when he's at risk. People would have targeted Monty. Yeah, if Monty was winning everything, they would have targeted him. But I don't necessarily think that he was throwing everything. But yeah, you've seen lots of people do that in OTAB, Van Hoot.
Want to play, and I want to surround myself with those same types of players. So early on, I might take out people who I perceive as floater. Will depend on when I'm in power. At the beginning of the game, I want to align with other people who are strategic players, who are willing to make moves, because that's the kind of game I want to play, and I want to surround myself with those same types of players. So early on, I might take out people who I perceive as floaters or who I don't think are there to really play the game and play hard to win, because they're not allies I think I could count on. Now, farther down the road, I don't care what the house wants, really at any point in the game, but farther down the road, I'll definitely be taking out those bigger strategic players, trying to make a resume for myself when I no longer need them. But I think based on how I want to play the game, it would be more beneficial for me to play with players who are strategic and willing to make moves than to take them out early.
Michael thought for sure he was going to win. So let me read these comments really quick before I say what I was going to say. Go Squad and Mark, great to be here. I'm glad to catch some live stream today. Peace and love. Peace and love, Candle. Peace and love. People think being big makes you an automatic winner. You know what? I was cracking up. I wish I had the video, but Turner and Monty were having one of their late night discussions one night. I think Taylor might have been there too. And they were talking about Daniel, or it could have been just Turner and Taylor talking about Daniel. And they were talking about how much they don't like them. And he said with such disdain, he was like, yeah, F that guy. With peace and love, of course. I was like, I got to say that to somebody. I definitely got to say that to somebody at some point in my life. Like, F you, with peace and love, of course. People think just being big makes you not, yeah. They probably would have put Michael up as a pawn if he wasn't such a copy. Exactly. You can't, once he put such a high profile on himself, you wouldn't even be able to convince him that he's a pawn anymore. Especially since Terrence would have yielded the same result. But I think Mike was considering Monty. He was. And he kept having these conversations with Brittany. What do you think about Monty? What do you think about Monty? We don't know where Monty stands. Monty hinted. I saw Monty, Gail. I saw Monty talking on the live feeds a lot to Turner and others, like Kyle at one point and Terrence, about how he was like, how do we beat this guy? Like, he's just dominant. He's just good at everything. I don't know how. I genuinely feel like Monty was like, what the hell is the formula to win against Mike? But he did keep saying, all he needs to do is slip up once. All he needs to do is slip up once. Now, what I don't get about Monty is that Monty and Turner talked endlessly for the last few weeks, talking about Taylor would be so hard to beat in the final two because of her story, but then he still picked her in the end. I don't know. Where are we at? Whoa, I missed a lot of comments while I was talking, apparently. It's funny that because they preemptively claimed Taylor was a comp beast and she won 0 POVs and only 2 HOHs. Yeah, they were talking about her being a comp beast a lot. But she actually was pretty good in a lot of the comps. It's just that, like, you remember the first several weeks of the season, Mike was just destroying everybody and everything. Mike played one aspect of the game great, Chai. That's what I would say. Being shorter and having better core strength is better athletically. Definitely for Big Brother, because it's not necessarily an athletic competition. When they say physical comp, it's like balance or being able to hold on to something for a long time. Clearly, that's a lie because Michael, you did a lot of performative stuff for the Alliance. Mark, do you think Taylor played Monty in order for him to? Yes, I do. I mean, I don't think that she played him in the sense of the hooking up part of it. They both decided to do that, and it impacted their games in different ways. But in terms of, Monty even said himself that Taylor convinced him that Turner would be a bigger threat if he was sitting next to him in final two, and he said that influenced his decision to pick her, and he thought that he made the right choice. That's game. That's game right there. Oh my goodness, Kendall. We're still out here waiting for our I'm the Point t-shirt. Thanks for the reminder. Thanks for that reminder. I'm gonna get on that ASAP. ASAP. I'm gonna get on that I'm the Point t-shirt. Ooh, I didn't think about Survivor. What time is it? Oh, I didn't think about Survivor. It's okay. Sorry about that for those of you who watch Survivor. I'm probably gonna watch yet last week's Survivor and then watch this week's episode tomorrow. And maybe hit up a recap of that. Even though it's going to be my first time. They use one another for love and affection. Yeah, I agree. I make t-shirts for real though, so if you guys would buy the I'm the Point t-shirts, let me know. That's how you put the target on others. Let others start winning a bit more. Yeah, I would have targeted him when he won his first 3 comps. Yeah. Poom Poom does crazy things. Monty threw a lot of comps though. I don't believe that. Hey y'all. Hey Sarah. Brittany hypnotized Monty into picking Taylor. Michael wasn't even a major target for most of the game until he was literally dunking on those fools. That's because most of those people just started watching Big Brother yesterday. Britt didn't like Taylor though. Hey y'all. They were? all the cast are sitting around watching the season together. Interesting. Yeah. No, they're not. Taylor and Joseph are not together as in officially a couple, but they're together as in they've been hanging out together. They went to Disney World, and Taylor said that she's going to be taking him on the cruise, and they're saying they're going to see where things go. I don't believe that, Renee. I don't believe that. I don't watch Survivor. I'll buy a t-shirt. I have to get those t-shirts started by this weekend. I am the point. I am the point. What do you think about Terrence's behavior towards Taylor? It was disgusting. Like, I don't like that behavior at all. The things he was saying about her. And then for him to turn around and try to be like, let's work together. We need to work together as black people. Nah, no, sir. Sarah, I need to watch them. I need them to watch feeds. I think they're chilling. Where are you talking about? In what's his name's house? My guess is, yeah. Well, I don't know, Van Hood. I don't know. I believe Monty would have won had not Taylor been so eloquent. Patricia delusionally said he wasn't even close to Monty. Okay, let me finish this Micah one.
And let floaters kind of clump together at the end and take me out potentially.
There's a strategy to keeping targets off your back, and I think winning every competition at every opportunity isn't a very strategic move.
I think so, Van Hoot.
I would take my closest ally because that's a fair game, and if they were my closest ally,
what are you sorry for, Lex?
Together, they deserve just as much as I do to win. So, may the best person win.
I feel like Joseph was too nice for this game.
I've watched Big Brother sporadically, so tuned in here and there. I watched the last season entirely, and my favorite player obviously would probably be Xavier. I feel like we have a very similar background, and I like his strategy playing the game.
Donna D, they said that Nicole apologized, and they decided to let bygones be bygones. Yeah, I agree, Cameron. And I already thought that. I'm like, this guy is too nice for this game. You have to be a little bit cutthroat at least.
I make waves.
He said he's similar to Xavier. Xavier, I know they're both lawyers. Xavier's nice as well, but the thing is, Xavier is willing to go for the kill at the same time. When the time comes, Xavier is ready to make his moves. He's gonna stab you in the heart, no emotions, and then he's just gonna walk away. It's like, he's very nice, but he's ruthless in the game as well when the time comes.
Try to flip the vote. Definitely not.
I agree.
Revealing my cards or my reasoning, but to
way
some
more
extent,
cutthroat,
I'll
Ling.
try and change it, but at the end of it, if I can't, I have to go completely. Definitely throw a competition, and that is because there's a strategy to keeping targets off your back, and I think winning every competition at every opportunity isn't a very strategic.
He seems like he has a childlike innocence to him. He really does.
I win HOH. I definitely think it depends on when in the game I have HOH. If it's towards the early game, I probably wouldn't go for such big targets. If it's towards later, I'm definitely going for bigger targets.
I'm going to go ahead and send waves throughout the house to flip that vote. I mean, who doesn't like a little bit of drama and power shift in the house?
Okay, let me pause that because I saw your question, Donna D. Joseph did throw her under the bus in a way, but the thing was, he kind of explained the situation of what happened with that in saying that at that point he realized that his alliance had flipped on him. So his new strategy was to appear like he was not working with those people anymore, so that the people outside would keep him in the house. Like that was his goal with that. Was it a great strategy? No, but that's the reason why he did it. Like, yeah, he's a, like, seems like a very kind-hearted dude, and too kind-hearted a dude to win a Big Brother show. But he could definitely be on an amazing race. Just he's just like a Derek X to me. No wonder they're cool with each other. He gives me Derek X vibes. People have been comparing him to Derek X. Yeah, he didn't do it maliciously. Yeah, Gail. I respect how Monty played. To be honest, he took the attention off him at the beginning by playing less hard. I don't think he did it on purpose. Maybe in the very beginning, I don't know, but after a while, he definitely wanted to get that dub over Michael. Taylor forgave Joseph for, yeah, and Joseph had some stuff to get over as well. Bear heat.
So there's two ways that I look at this. As a player, I take someone I'm not close with because I want the person that I have been close with to be on that jury to give me that vote. And who doesn't want to win with a knockout runaway win? That's easy. As a fan, I want to see a close vote. I like the drama, I like the anticipation, but if I'm sitting up there, final two, which mark my words, I will be, I'm not taking any risks when it comes to 750K. So when it comes to the actual gameplay, I'm sending out my allies so they can give me the vote and get that jury in my favor. Ooh, so I watched season 20. Of course, I watched 23. That's actually what got me into Big Brother. And season 3 is one of my absolute favorites. Some of my favorite players would be Danielle R. Obviously, just an absolute mastermind who should have won her season. I'm glad we sequestered juries now because that's why I plan to model my gameplay after. And I love Janelle. I'm really obsessed with women in this game who are just bold, brazen, and aren't afraid to go after what it is what they want. And I love how Janelle was not afraid to be a bubbly, girly personality while also dominating competitions. I like that these women that I'm thinking of never sacrificed who they actually are and still played a fabulous game. Well, obviously, if I haven't won the veto, I think I need to look at the rest of the landscape. Keeping the HOH happy can only get you so far because that person loses power the very next week. And if this ally is one of my stronger allies, I'm going to go ahead and send waves throughout the house to flip that vote. And who doesn't like a little bit of drama and power shift in the house?
Yeah,
absolutely.
I get what you're saying,
I do know that I have a lot to prove. I have a handful of competitions pretty early on that personally I know I need to win to prove my worth and strength to other people in the house. When it comes to absolutely dominating competitions, that's just not necessary for me to get far in the game. I would much rather be a player that has more social power and can make things happen in the house without being HOH.
You heard what she said right there. She'd rather be more of a social player who could make things happen without winning HOH. That was her strategy. Yeah, she did try to do these made for TV moments, man. Don and D, I don't know if they inked it yet, but I'm pretty sure they're in negotiations right now. It's not a rumor. They're in negotiations. I would bug out about some of what Monty did, but when I look closer, a lot of it was game play to keep the heat off himself. So happy to see you beat Monty, and I hope you and Joseph stay together. Cameron, she said all the stuff that she's saying right now before she got into the house. That's interesting. Spoke it into existence.
Instead of being HOH and seeing all my power crumble because somebody has more social power than me. That's the easy thing. I'm throwing those comps.
Instead of being HOH, but see my game crumble because somebody has more social power than me. That sounds like what just happened to Monty in the end. It's so weird that she was trying to have a social game and people ended up disliking her. Yeah. Again, I'm not. But yo, Yeah. Taylor's speech was epic. Oh my God. Yeah, me too, Cameron.
Nominating people the house wants on the block is so boring. I'm going big. I'm nominating people who are strategic players so I can get them out of the house, especially if it's
What time is that,
pre-jury. If this is someone
Patricia?
who's not going to be voting for me on the jury, I want them out so I can go ahead and build strong relationships with people in the house so that jury is carried to my favor.
Oh, I missed
So I
that
watched
second to
season
last
20.
part.
Of course, I watched 23.
I'm gonna
That's
go
actually what
back a
got me
little
into the
bit.
game. That's the easy thing. I'm throwing those comps.
Oh, does it? Oh.
Nominating people the house wants on the block is so boring. I'm going big. I'm nominating people who are strategic players so I can get them out of the house, especially if it's pre-jury. If this is someone who's not going to be voting for me on the jury, I want them out so I can go ahead and build strong relationships with people in the house so that jury is carried to my favor. So I watched season 20. Of course, I watched 23. That's actually what got me into Big Brother. And season 3 is one of my absolute favorites. Some of my favorite players would be Danielle R, obviously just an absolute mastermind who should have won her season. I'm glad we sequestered juries now because that's why I plan to model my gameplay after. And I love Janelle. I'm really obsessed with women in this game who are just bold, brazen, and aren't afraid to go after what it is what they want. Aren't afraid to go after what it is that they want. And I love how Janelle was not afraid to be a bubbly, girly personality while also dominating competitions. I like that these women that I'm thinking of never sacrificed who they actually are and still played fabulous.
All right, y'all. That is the end of my video. What did y'all think? What did y'all think of those pregame interviews? What did y'all think of the pregame interviews? The strength of her game is that she won an 8-1 vote. That is a stellar social game. She did the thing. She flipped it around. She flipped the house. I mean, it took some help, but she flipped the house. But she put that all into her speech. Thank you, Van Hoot. I appreciate that. I was going through the page just to show you guys. I did actually start something because I do this kind of stuff in my free time, but based on what I wanted to do, I didn't have enough time. I was starting to create like a little document where I was going to put some Instagram footage and different stuff like that, but you know, it would have taken me a while to do that based on how I do things. So what I did instead was just put together these pregame videos, which I happened to find while I was looking for other stuff. And that's how that went. I might get to that at another point. The pregame interviews were fun. Thanks, Donna D. I missed the whole discussion, Van Noot. I don't know what you guys were talking about there. I missed that. Taylor A deserved none of the hate she gets, but at the same time, people are sometimes weird and emotional and get jealous. My point is, I understand why it isn't fair, but I understand. Taylor, I know, Donna D. When I saw her walk onto that stage on, I forgot what the talk. When I saw her walk onto that stage on the talk, it looked like she had already been there. She didn't look like somebody who just walked out of the Big Brother house and became famous. She looked like somebody who has already been there. Been there, done that. It isn't right, but that's how the world works. Being a confident, beautiful black woman, as I have said on many, many different videos, automatically just starts to rub people the wrong way. You know, Tiffany I said this on another post and people jumped at me. This is not my point. This is Tiffany from Big Brother 23's point. She said it on an episode of The Winner's Circle. Yeah, Google it. She said it on an episode of The Winner's Circle that beautiful women who come on the show have to do beauty management. And I thought that was an interesting term. It's a term that she made up. Beauty management, she said, was like if somebody came up to her and was like, girl, you look so gorgeous. Being like, I'm just trying to be like you. Oh no, girl, I love your hair. Oh no, but the way that you do your makeup, like deflecting the attention back onto them and doing like a fake humble type thing. And Azza said that she had to do that on her season in a way. She was like, I couldn't really be my full self. The thing that I kind of respect about Taylor, even though I kept saying I don't think that Taylor's the best Big Brother player in the world, she was just herself unapologetically. It was like, I may go out week one, I may win this game, but when I leave this game, people are going to know that I am who I am. And I love that. I love that. Because I'm not a black female, obviously I'm a black male, but me also, we have to tone ourselves down in settings, especially in settings where getting money is involved, corporate and work and stuff like that. We have to tone ourselves down and act different and act a different kind of way in order to make people think that we are acceptable or tolerable or non-threatening and all that. And she was just like, you think I'm cold, but I'm not cold. Keep me around, and you are eventually going to get to know my personality. I'm not going to change for you. I'm not going to change who I am in order to win the game. Taylor just has a presence about her, and I'm so happy to see her go to the top. Me too. Tiffany is my favorite ever. Especially since she's a dark... That's a big thing, Van Hoop. You will already be noticed, yeah. Dark skin, it's a real thing. Dark skin is a real thing. As much as we act like in this era in society, it's a thing that is celebrated, it's a thing that is celebrated in a way, but obviously look at the jealousy that happens just from her walking into a room without her saying a thing. The jury was not forced to vote for her. Every one of those people went to jury with a high opinion of Taylor. Yeah, those comments that I've been seeing, Renee, I feel like they are an attempt to just downplay her accomplishment. Nobody forced them. Nobody put a gun to the heads. Taylor didn't GAF. It is risky, but here's the reason why it didn't backfire on her, Van Hoop. The one person who knew how to play the game or watch the game, like, okay, Daniel was against her, but Daniel was out before jury, right? He shot himself in the foot with that. But the other person who knew how to play the game really well kept her in his back pocket. And you heard all these other people. I just started watching Big Brother last week. I watched 2 seasons. I started with season 23, and then I went back and watched like 5 seasons. You know, like they're not experienced Big Brother players. Because if they were, I think they would have seen her as a threat. I think they would have been able to analyze the game a little bit and realize that she was a big social threat. They kept talking like Alyssa was such a huge threat. I don't care what y'all say. If Alyssa was sitting in that chair against any one of them in the final 2, Alyssa's not winning. Please. That's like saying Victoria was going to win against Cody. Ling. Yeah, Ling. She was specifically talking about black women. And I think she even specifically said like chocolate black women, as a matter of fact. But I'd have to go back to be 100% sure. But it was definitely a comment that she was making about black women. I still understand why this got jealous because that's just how the game works. Paloma was cute. Listen, Ling, as I was going into these Instagram profiles today, I was looking at Paloma. I meant to say this. I'm glad you said that. I was looking through Paloma's Instagram, and before she came on Big Brother, she's had like modeling pictures and different things. She was on the beach, she was in her bikinis and all that. So she's probably all used to a lot of times being known as the pretty one. So as soon as she saw Taylor, she was like, I might not be the prettiest girl in the room, so I need to get this lady out of here. Yeah, all the guys wanted to loved her and wanted to protect her. Yep. It's like they didn't see Taylor's beauty until she was there for a while, except Joe. That's why she liked Joe so much. No, you make sense, Van Hoot. It makes sense to me. It makes sense to me. I've seen it live and in action. I've seen it in real life. Yeah, I saw that. I saw that, Tammy. They tweeted her from the beginning when she started eating the Lays, and then she tweeted them when she got out of the house. They retweet and they responded, and she responded, and I know they're working on the contract. I know maybe it may get in trouble for that, but white women in particular, blonde women, yeah. Look, I mean, look what was happening with Alyssa. I mean, come on. Where are we at? Where are we at here? She's definitely not the best BB brother player ever. Not top 10, but she's definitely an icon. Yeah, she is. Yeah, she is. She will be remembered. Not for her gameplay, but she will be remembered. Micah respected the hell out of her, which helped her in terms of the jury. It did. It did. How did they blame Taylor for Paloma? That was messed up, Donna D. It wasn't even her. Let me think back, but I think they were trying to say that Taylor was bullying Paloma, which wasn't even true. That's what they were trying to say. They were spreading that around. And she even tried to say that after she left the house. Oh, Taylor, Mira, and Joseph should get a second chance. I would be interested in watching them again. Especially Amira. Donna D, they kept saying that Taylor was the reason that she quit the game. Yeah. That was a nasty rumor, too. I'm so glad she threw that in her speech. She was like, I was blamed for a person in the house leaving for mental health issues, for causing them. Yeah, it's funny that Alyssa was perceived as, well, yeah. They acted like Alyssa's social game was amazing. The funny thing is, it wasn't what Alyssa was doing in the game. It was just like an Alyssa is going to be protected. I don't even have to elaborate on that. I don't even have to elaborate on that. And Alyssa is going to be protected. You can read between the lines. And said that Taylor caused Paloma to spiral out of control. That's a nasty rumor to start, Andrew. I'm so glad she put that in her speech. I don't believe that, Donna D. I do not believe that. The way, especially against Taylor, because the way this season they were talking about optics so much, they know how the optics would look if they picked Alyssa over Taylor. They would not do it just off of that. I mean, in addition to the speech, could you imagine Alyssa trying to make a speech against the speech that Taylor made? Well, I slept with Kyle. I didn't win any tournaments, but I'm still here. It's like when Christmas. Oh man, I'm doing the clapping. The clapping. That video. I just watched that video a couple weeks ago on YouTube. Devon said something very true. She was like, I can't yell right now. Yep. Because it's good. Like, if she was yelling and clapping in Christmas's face, everyone would be like, oh my God, we got to break this up. As a black woman, confidence is key, and self-awareness The character of on the house. I notice a lot of girls in these games really beef with other. Yeah, they do. They don't rock together. They don't work together. I was mad at Taylor, I think her first HOH, for not throwing Jasmine up there, but I respect the cause. Taylor actually did risk her game several times over for her causes. What was Taylor supposed to have done to make Paloma quit? That's the thing. There was not a specific thing that she did. They were just saying that she was just bullying her and caused her to spiral. It wasn't like there was one specific statement. Oh man, I keep missing these comments. Like, we gotta go through so much. She didn't do anything. No, she did not. Paloma spiraled either way. She was going on her way out on the road. If you go back and watch the feeds, yep. They wanted to make her the scapegoat. Yep. Woman was off her meds. I saw that. Talking about aliens and dimensions. They wanted to blame Taylor for anything. Yes, they did. It was malicious. Talked about how she hacked the game. She was clearly in a manic phase. Yeah. Delusions of grandeur. Alyssa, I'm sorry I have to say that she was basically furniture. Taylor did nothing, and I watched the feeds from day one. It was pure jealousy. Alyssa always had the white girl protection. It's hard in these streets for us black women. Kept saying she was talking about, that was messed up. She put that in her speech too. She was trying to be sympathetic to Nicole and basically tell her, like, if you gotta go, you gotta go, but I support you because your mom and what's going on with your mom is bigger than the game. And try to flip that around like she was doing something, saying something crazy, and then have Daniel screaming on her and all that. I remember seeing her smelling the orange going, For the first time, Big Brother didn't fall for the white woman tears. For the first time. Alyssa wouldn't say no. Alyssa wouldn't know what to say. Oh my God. Alyssa's final 2 speech would probably be worse than Enzo's. I don't remember Enzo's, but I just know that dude made a horrible final 2 speech. I'm here, yo. Thanks for having me and vote for me, I'm here, I don't know geography. It was just good to see a beautiful young black woman give a great speech like that and maintain poise, for sure. Sometimes optics don't mean anything when it comes to WW or BW. Sometimes. You could be right. I just don't think so. But you could be right. I'm not saying that that's not a possibility. But I think that with the social climate of where we are right now, I think even if they wanted to vote for Alyssa over Taylor, they would not, because they would be concerned about what people would say about them afterwards. The game would be so weird. Oh yeah, it would. Yeah, they would have done the whole backstage twist and all that. Basically, what we're talking about is a form of code switching, double consciousness, which in my opinion affects people of color more than others. Yeah. She is integral. Yeah, small chat, but good. That's true. We don't have 100 people tonight, but it's sometimes the smaller chats I've actually found are the most interesting. And especially because, like, sometimes the really big chats, people are just dropping stupid comments in there. And I'm just trying to wade through those and can't have a real conversation. But these smaller ones, they're easier to follow. Oh yeah, if Taylor had just been like, you know what? Let me tell you about yourself. Like, if she pulled a Devon, she'd be out of there. If she had like a Devon type of reaction once, and I mean like first season Devon, not All Stars Devon. All those tears shed during the game were worth it. She won 800K. Word. You basically have to be better, more professional. I know I'm way behind because I know that comment I'm reading from Van Hoot was about what I said about black people in different settings. Because there's a lot of things in this chat. Monty looked like he regretted taking her to final two at that commercial break. Oh, yes, he did. Sarah. Yo, my man. Yo. I'm so happy Cody brought me here, yo. Yeah, you right. I missed Chai's comment in here somewhere. At least Monty can brag about being the reason a black woman made history and won Big Brother. He should try to capitalize on that. I would. Yo, message me a story later. Do that. 800K, but yeah, needs therapy right now. This cast wouldn't have been able to. Oh my God, Devon. Yeah, well, the thing is, the cast would have gotten rid of her if Devon, let's say they didn't know her and she was like her first season form and came into this house, they would get rid of her so fast. Taylor had to be Taylor to be able to stay. And I don't know if she is really like that off the show, but I really do. I think Taylor's not really an aggressive person. She's really low key. She's more low key and she's more shy and introverted. The trauma was worth 800K and a trip. I wish Devon could have gone further, but I feel like a point that, well, somewhat of a point that Van Hoot has been making. A Devon would never win a Big Brother season. I love Devon, one of my favorite people and players, but there's no way a Devon would ever win a Big Brother season. You have to be able to, especially if you're a person of color coming into the game, you have to be extremely, look at the two people who won back to back. Xavier and Taylor. Come on, they had to be exceptional. They had to be extremely level-headed. I loved Devon in the challenge. Oh my goodness. Her sound bites alone. Her sound bites were great. You have to excel and either be lucky or play chess to win. And Taylor was more lucky, I feel, to get to that point that she was in. Like, a lot of things went in her favor after the first week. Xavier was more chess player, where he did like a bunch of moves in advance and planned things out. But the weird thing about Xavier that I have found is that after the show, so many people were talking like he did dirty moves, like so many people from his season. Anyways, y'all, I'm going to be on here for like another 5 to 10 minutes. So I'm just going to be reading your last few comments here. Devon, believe it or not, kind of grew on me because I'm not even going to say why, because the cancel culture is strong. I'm not even going to say why. I read somewhere that Xavier said he was going to... Really? Yo. I hope that happens. But then again, knowing Xavier, it would probably be a private thing, so... But that would be dope. That would just be dope in general. I do, Van Hoot. Once I started doing lives on this channel, I was like, some things I'm just not going to say on the channel. I'll say them in real life. I'll say them to people I know and trust. But people just take things and flip them to things that they shouldn't be. He is hilarious outside of the show, Cameron. Monty needs to be spoken to. He has a lot, not publicly. Okay. I'm not going to get the details of this, but I said this on another one of my lives. I made a joke on Facebook several years ago. It was like a joke about men and women. And then I had somebody come on. I was thinking, oh, this is funny. And then I had somebody come on there and say I was misogynistic. And I'm looking at the comment. I'm looking at my post and I'm like, misogynistic. And then a bunch of women jumped on the post and were like, yeah, you think that you're better than women. And I'm like, am I missing something here? And I actually showed the post to my mom. I showed it to my mom because I was like, Mom, because my mom gives me like really raw, unfiltered opinions on things. Usually I don't ask for them, she just gives them, but I actually asked her for this one. I was like, what do you think of this? She was like, I think that's funny. So then I showed her the comments underneath it, and she was like, Mark, you know, it didn't look that way to me, but your best bet your best bet is to not put those things online and just save them amongst your friends, your friendship circle, before people take them and flip them and turn them. Yeah. So ever since that point, and if I told you guys what the thing that I posted was, it wouldn't make sense to you neither. To this day, it doesn't make sense to me. I'll tell you in a vague way. It was just like I was talking about how my taste in women changed from teens to my 20s, and then I was using like a car reference, and the person jumped in there like, how are you comparing women to cars? You're misogynistic. And I'm like, wait a minute. Does this have a different definition than what I thought? Yeah, you got to be careful. I want to take a guess about who commented, but I won't. If you want an online presence, people will misrepresent your stuff. That's it. Even today, I don't know. I deleted it, but maybe some people saw that I made a post. There's a couple of posts. One of them was one where it was talking about taking mental health days. There was a post about taking mental health days. It was like a meme or whatever that I had posted up. It's still on my page, and somebody commented on there and said that what was it? It was I was out of touch for saying that you should take mental health days, and as a mental health page, you that comes across as condescending, and you shouldn't be a mental health professional for telling people to take mental health days. I was like, what? Am I missing something here? Yeah, I know. People just come on angry. It doesn't even have anything to do with you. It doesn't even it's just they need somewhere to direct their anger from what's going on, and today might be your day. I saw somebody flip out at a McDonald's nearby my house because they went to the register and they were trying to get a medium fries or whatever, and the person said, I have to reset the register. It's going to take 5 minutes. And the end of this story ended up with a person holding up a camera, going on Facebook Live, and calling McDonald's corporate, trying to embarrass the person and get them in trouble. I used to be a moderator for a few Facebook groups related to my future career. People are saying wild stuff, and no matter what, even taking an objective view, you'll have your back raked. Yeah, I know how that goes. I must say though, I'm glad that I'm doing this now. I've had different YouTubes for years, but this is the first time I ever went live on YouTube. So I'm in a much better mental space now. So when I see those things, Sometimes I engage a little too much, but eventually I just get rid of them. Xavier said on the winner's circle he wanted to speak to Monty and develop a friendship. Interesting. He said that if he hadn't taken Taylor to F2, his foot would have been up Monty's behind. Well, Monty could drive those tiers with 800K. Some people in this world need that. I know, right? And imagine somebody being like that, and he's not even, there was no drugs in there. He was just naturally like that in there. I suggest people get a good stable spot, but the internet ain't for everyone. I am in a great place. There were days, people tell me now, somebody said, I'm not like him, you know, like I'll say the tough things. And it's like, I used to say crazy, wild stuff online too, until I started trying to make money online and realized I couldn't say all those things because they could impact the money that I could potentially make. Yeah. I can't say anything now, even though I would like to sometimes. I can't say anything. But I still stay true to myself. I don't say anything that's not true to me. I just omit some things that could potentially get me in trouble based on the type of world that we live in, where people sit and just look for anything to chop you down. I'm happy Monty will be able to talk to men outside of Terrence. That's hilarious, Sarah. You also have to be careful of what shows you go on with people too. Yeah. Definitely. I love myself some Turner. What an adorable young man. I hope we see more. I wonder what show Turner would be good on. Because it was not Big Brother, but I wonder what other show he would be good on. I went on a show with a friend a while back, and he was saying wild stuff about celebs and their families. Hey, maintenance chick, I'm hopping off soon, but glad you stopped in to say hi. I just finished, well, maybe half an hour ago, showing the pregame interviews. Oh, and there was families, and I made him delete that part of the video. That sounds like an interesting story, Van Hoop. I'll tell you later what I was talking about. I don't see Turner doing it. Maybe he could make his own show. Maybe he could just do he could get a social media presence. Peace and love. Peace and love. Yes. All right, y'all. Thanks for stepping in and checking in. We'll be back with different stuff. And I hope everyone has a great night with peace and love. With peace and love.